Hi everyone, welcome to another Headphone.ph review. Today we are reviewing the Bose Quiet Comfort 35. This is the version 2, which has very little difference to the original QC35. This headphone retails for 22,500 pesos locally if you're living in the Philippines. If you're living overseas, it's available on Amazon for around $300 depending on it does fluctuate, obviously. It's probably the most recommended noise canceller in the last 5 years or so. It comes with this small box. If you'll notice, this is much smaller than the newer QC's Bose 700 headphone, and it's because the headphone kind of folds, which I'll show later. The carry case is more compact as well and is hard-sided as well, which is nice. It comes with some cables, namely the 2.5 to 3.5 millimeter cable, and then the USB charge. This is not USB-C because this headphone was released some time ago, and back then it's not the sort of standard yet. So going back to the headphone itself, I find the look of this headphone to be pretty decent. It's definitely made for executives or people who frequently do business travels and things like that. It's not like the form factor is very, like, depending on who you are, you may find this to be very average or utilitarian, whereas for me it's just about right. The materials of this headphone is mostly plastic. I think it's just a lot of it is plastic, and then the padding is synthetic leather, and the part here in the headband it seems to me it's a velour, but I guess the inside is synthetic leather as well. So this headphone has some buttons. The left ear cup has the noise cancelling mode similar to the 700. Because this one doesn't have touch control, it has its dedicated play, pause, volume up and down, skip back, skip forward, and the power on button is here. So you toggle this on to turn on the device, and then you push it further to the right, so it enables and then it enables the pairing for Bluetooth devices. So this headphone, like the 700, can be connected to up to 8 different Bluetooth devices, but it can only hold up to 2 active connections. So what that means is if you connect this to your smartphone and then computer, you're easily able to toggle between those 2 devices without having to connect, disconnect, reconnect any of them. So that's a pretty nice feature to have. It also has an app, but the odd thing is it has a different app than the Bose 700. So the Bose 700 has the Bose Music app, whereas this one has the Bose Connect. I was not able to really try the app, but from what I read, you can make adjustments on the noise cancelling levels through the app, and also like make presets and things like that. So this is a very comfortable headphone, just like the Bose 700. I don't know if I'm gonna pick which one is more comfortable. I would say it's the Bose 700 because it has larger ear cups, whereas this one, it still goes completely over my ears, but it's a little smaller, and also the pads are not as plush as what's in the Bose 700. As you can see, I can just fit this into my head perfectly fine, and clamp is quite minimal, and I'm able to wear this for hours without feeling any discomfort or experiencing any hot spot at the top of my head. It does cancel out noise pretty well. Comparing it to the newer Bose 700, I personally really didn't feel any difference between them. Maybe the Bose 700 do it better because it has more modes, whereas this one just has 3 modes. But all in all, like, the highest of that and the highest setting of this is, to me, like on par with each other. Definitely better than some of the other noise cancellers that I've tried or reviewed on the blog. This also has a good battery life. My experience is it's around 12 to 15 hours of use. And because I'm not really wearing this for just an entire day, I'm able to use it without charging it for nearly a week. Very, very similar to the Bose 700. Onto the sound. So just like the Bose 700 again, you can use it in three different modes, mainly the wireless mode, which, well, you don't have to use wires, and you can use it in active wired mode, which means you'll have to plug in the wire but the headphone is turned on. And you can also use it when the battery dies, like completely turned off with wires. So the sound signature of this is, I would say, your typical dark bassy headphone, but the difference is I find the signature of this to be quite pleasant. The bass definitely is accentuated. It has more sub bass and mid bass than the Bose 700. I find that to be the case. It does bleed a little on the mid range, but not a lot that it becomes unpleasant. And to me, the biggest difference with this is the mid-range is more coherent sounding compared to the Bose 700, which can at times sound a little like boxy sounding. The treble of this one is also not as I would say there's some splash in the lower treble, but it's not as harsh, or it's not as sibilant as the Bose 7 can be at times. I think looking at the frequency response that I found on the internet, it's probably because this one has a more broader like rise in the treble area, whereas the Bose 700 it just goes up high from the mid-range part. The soundstage of this is pretty like average. I would say typical of sealed headphones. It's not a wide soundstage. The Bose 700 it's not wide either, but it's more spacious than this one. So switching back and forth, it's readily apparent which one is like wider sounding. In terms of imaging, it's just okay. Because of the smaller like stage, the image is kind of congested. It's not, I wouldn't say it's worse or that worse than the Bose 700, because the Bose 700, because of it being slightly bright and harsh and lacking some like body in the middle mid-range, that can sound less coherent and weird at times. The wired mode of this, while active, is also very similar to the wireless mode. It's the opposite of what my findings are with the Bose 700. This one, if you're using it wired, there's more bass than wireless. So if you find the wireless mode to have a super excessive amount of bass, then you'll find the wired mode to have even more. Personally, for me, it's not a problem because the whole signature is coherent, and it's just once I wear it, my mind just adjusts that this is a warm, bassy headphone. The completely passive mode, which means it's turned off and you're using wires, is not as good sounding as the two. Again, it's because of the DSP does a lot with noise cancelling headphones, where they're able to correct mistakes from how the driver is tuned. Interestingly, I find the passive wired mode of this to be better sounding than the Bose 700, which is, that one's just like I would say like atrocious compared to this one. But then again, this is a noise cancelling headphone, so most people will use it in that state without wires and with noise cancellation active, so I don't think that's that big of an issue. So the Bose QC35, this is the Mark II variant, is one of the most recommended headphone for this purpose, and it's for a reason. It's because of a superb noise cancelling capabilities, but also the sound I feel is more suited for this type of headphone. While the Bose 700 is more balanced, the sound as a whole doesn't come together as well as with this one. And for me, I definitely prefer this one over the Bose 700. Of course, the Bose 700 is more modern. It has touch controls. It's made with better materials, has a better app, probably has better noise cancelling. But all in all, if I'm gonna buy a noise cancelling headphone and have to choose between the two, then I'm definitely gonna be picking this one. So that's it for this review. Do you have any thoughts about this headphone? Have you used or tried this one? What other noise cancelling headphones would you say is better than the Bose headphones? Let me know in the comment section below. Thumbs up this video if you like it, subscribe for more content like this, and visit headphone.ph for the text version of this review. I'll see you guys next time.